Okay, the new material. I just pulled up the wrong stuff. Look at me go. Wow. So no metronome is really needed for this stuff. You certainly can once you get comfortable with it, but it's not the focus for the new stuff. It's mainly watching that fret hand to make sure that it doesn't fully leave the strings while you do this stuff. Or basically, the first two exercises definitely, because you're trying to do the staccato thing and work on having full pressure and then partial pressure, I guess you'd call it. But for the third one, well, you want the chords to ring out, so definitely have pressure down. So it's a good idea to practice this without the distortion, because you'll definitely hear harmonics and whatnot ringing out even though you're still touching the string, especially like the 5th fret thing, because that's where you're playing a harmonic anyway. Turn this off. There we go. But yeah, because the 5th fret, 7th, and the 12th, where you produce those natural harmonics, sometimes doing the muting thing, it will still produce a harmonic even though you do the proper muting technique. But then again, like I mentioned, sometimes you have to use the right hand as well. And yeah, we'll get into that as well as everything else we're going to do. So, let's see. Let's see if I can get a good close-up or a decent close-up of my hand while doing that. Like from this angle. Yeah, now you can see the strings a bit more. So basically, like really watch your hand. Once you get the pattern of the notes down, and just kind of just watch what your hand's doing. I forgot to repeat that part. Let's try that again. Here. So trying to, sometimes like if I'm going fast with something like this, I'll want to just keep bouncing my whole hand, but to work on individual finger stuff, I want you to do your best to go slow enough so you can think about these things, but you'll have your fingers over the frets that you're going to be using, but only apply pressure to the finger needed in order to produce the note that you're going for. So instead of pushing the whole hand down at once, work on just hitting one finger at a time. So here we go. That goes for. And yeah, so if you feel like you need to slow way down, that's okay. And you'll, like Pinky just got real jumpy there, and that's gonna happen. And this stuff just feels bizarre. And for some reason, this shape here, it's more difficult for me to do the one finger at a time deal. So if you find yourself in the same boat, that's okay. So yeah, go take your time with it. when I'm like trying to play this whole thing consistent, or without pausing, when changing this shape to this shape, and then back and back, I'll like put one finger down at a time as I'm going, instead of trying to get all four at the same time. So that's an okay thing to do as well. Just moving one finger at a time as you change position on the fretboard. So this guy, let's see. So you said you feel better with thumb over the top at the lower position. So if you need to play this backwards, or like find a place on the guitar where it feels okay. So let's say the most ideal place for you is like your thumb's on the 6th fret there. You can start from there. You can play each thing twice instead of the one arpeggio. Just keep doing it as many times as you need to, but then you'll start working your way down when you're ready, or working your way up when you're ready. Now when I'm doing this as it's written, my thumb will kind of do a little twitchy release and then back down as I go. Let's try that again. So you really got to bend, your wrist back like this in order to be able to get that thumb over the top like that. So definitely, you're not trying to position your hand as if you were doing these sorts of things. You got to change it up. So just think like, again, waiter hand, like you're carrying a tray. And, bring your elbow back if you need to. Sometimes my shoulder will come up a bit. And it'll feel different up here than over here. So just kind of experiment with different wrist positions for yourself, different arm positioning, and see what you can get to work for you. Now, it is kind of neat to be able to use your thumb. This is interesting. A lot of times when I do certain things with students, it's like it tends to be multiple people, like one or two other people. I've been talking about meeting a bit. Interesting how that kind of works out sometimes, but you can come up with some pretty cool sounding chord stuff here. Like you take this version of an F major chord here, but you throw your thumb down, you can create some dissonant sounding things. I'd probably do it just like that if I was going to hit that A note. But still, I think you get the point there. You can come up with some pretty cool sounding stuff using the old thumb there. One chord, an F suspended second. You can you have that open G here. It's basically like taking the F minor shape or F major shape and taking the fret on the G string and making it open. But if you want to have like all 6 strings, you'd have to get the thumb over the top of the neck there and hold down that F note. It's not a common chord shape. Usually when I work on chord theory stuff with people, I'm teaching them how to figure out suspended chords and whatnot. I just usually play this version of the F suspended second. It's like an abbreviated version, or you can also do it like this. Which is actually also a C suspended 4. A C suspended 4 and an F suspended second have the same 3 notes. Basically, a C suspended 4 has the notes C, F, G, C, F, G. An F suspended second has F, G, C. So, same 3 notes, slightly different order. There you go, a little bit of theory. But yeah, if you want that bass and the root note there, you gotta use your thumb. So there are advantages to getting used to having your thumb over the top like that, advantages beyond just being able to mute things. More musical possibilities. I think that covers everything. yeah, if any questions come up, definitely let me know, and we'll keep at it. And maybe we'll talk more about the right hand muting next time. I mean, it's really, I mean, as far as the right hand muting stuff goes, it's really just a matter of, yeah, you just gotta keep your hand down, and that's one of the issues, you know, I have with doing the downward pick slanting stuff a lot is, you know, people that are playing like that, this leaves all these the low strings open. So when you're like playing up here, there's nothing muting those lower strings. Let's see. And there are plenty of downward slanters, Yngwie Malmsteen being one of them. Marty Friedman, big time. That dude plays like he's trying to hold water in his palm the whole time. But I have been told, one student told me he either read an article or watched an interview involving an old Megadeth recording session. I don't remember what album it was, but basically it was Marty Friedman had issues with lots of unwanted noise when he was playing in the recording session. It's like, well, it's because he's not muting anything. So I don't know if he's just like really damn good with his left hand muting nowadays, and because you know, when I hear him play now, I don't really notice anything ringing out that he doesn't want. So I suppose there are ways to overcome not doing muting stuff with the picking hand, but you know, why not use it? Make it easier on yourself. So yeah, when you're playing like the whole downward slant thing, let's about, you know, go up a scale here. Let me make it more obvious. I'm going to play it in a very off-putting place. You hear all that shit ringing out? I notice I'm swearing more on talking to you. It's because I feel comfortable. So hopefully that's not a problem. Then again, if you watch like, you've seen some of my YouTube videos and whatnot, you've heard me swear like crazy. So anyway, yeah, it sounds pretty bad when you're not muting here. Like I can hear it. Hopefully you can hear it too. Like as I leave these strings, you know, even if I'm muting the best I can with my left hand, it didn't really ring out there. Oh, maybe I muted well enough with the left hand after all. Now there's a little bit there. Hear that? So I guess if you're really good with the left hand, you can kind of mute things as you're leaving the strings, but most likely what's going to happen is this. All that stuff. So again, this is a disadvantage to the downward pick slanting positioning. So one reason why I'm always up like this for the most part, that part of my hand here, this is what's doing the muting, not this. That's for the palm mutes, that sort of thing. I guess it's like kind of more right here, not completely on the side, but like kind of here. But for muting unwanted noise, this is the part of my hand that's doing the muting. So as I'm climbing up, like here, you know, this is also my anchor point for the really, really fast stuff. But it's not only my anchor point for playing the fast stuff, it's the muting point. So as I'm climbing up that scale, same one I just did, yeah, just making sure I position my hand, you know, kind of moving my, you know, extending my elbow out and whatnot to be able to reach those higher strings. But you see, I'm resting on the strings the whole time here. And you can still end up like going into a downward slant when needed. Good grief. So, I mean, you can end up doing a downward slant while keeping your hand on the strings there and not mute out. Because here's a bit of a downward slant right now, but it's just not as exaggerated as some players do. So yeah, just basically you got to get used to, when you're playing up on the higher strings here, you just have to have that part of your hand resting on the lower strings. Just kind of like, just getting used to a new hand position, I guess you could say. So I thought I was going to form a thought there, and it just looked like a dummy. All right, well, if you have any questions with that, let me know. But I hope that kind of clarifies what I'm doing, what I'm thinking of for the muting of the picking hand. Because, really the only technique, I don't know. At the moment, I feel it's easier to put exercise stuff together for fret hand muting work, whereas the right hand is just like, it's really just as simple as put your hand on the string and just keep it there. But I'll think of some stuff. I guess next week, let me know how that's going with right hand stuff, if you start incorporating that, and see if you have like an aha moment or whatnot. But either way, we'll get it to work. All right, done rambling. We'll see you next week.